Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and I just wanted to do a quick update on my ground cherries and my red noodle beans. So let's get to it. Okay, first one I want to show you is the very first ground cherry plant that I got that is now in this 5-gallon pot, and it's still like very small. Like the leaves and everything are very small, and if you look, here's the very center of the plant, and all the leaves here have fallen off. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened. Like they just started to dry, and so now like it's very spindly in the sense of it's like this weird like bare spot. Like it has 3 branches. Like one's right here, this is the second one, and this is the third one right here. And so it's like very bare in the middle because all the leaves that were there are all fallen off, and it's sprawled kind of flat. It hasn't really grown up, but it's grown out. And so, and if you look at like the leaves, you see how small they are, and like all these here, they're really small, and there's bunches of flowers. And I'm going to show you, let's see, there's a flower. I mean, I have been plucking a lot of them off because of the fact that these leaves are still so small. Because from the videos I've seen, these are supposed to be much bigger, like I think almost the size of my hand. And so I've been pinching off the flowers to maybe so that it will focus more on growth of leaves and things like that. But it still has some cherries right there, and you see how small it is compared to my finger. Here there's like 2 more right here. These are still very small as well, very small. And there's the flowers, and I've still been picking them off, and these 2 were not here this morning when I been checking on this plant. And so I'm not quite sure what's going on with this one. I mean, I know once it got transplanted, it needed time to get adjusted, but it's been in this pot for a while now, and they definitely are doing better. You see, like this is probably the biggest leaf on this plant, and at some point, like earlier on, when these new leaves first came, you see how they were very different looking. They're kind of distorted and stuff like that. Not sure what exactly happened, but it looks like it's finally adjusting, fully adjusting, where it's not having any more of those crinkled leaves. And and I'm going to show you in a bit all the ground cherries that I've gotten from this plant. I mean, they're all tiny like those. And so this is the first plant that I got that was originally in one of these 1-gallon pots. I had in a 1-gallon fabric pot. And so this is the other variety. But as far as this one, the variety that this one is, the pruinosa, I've got that one, and I have this one, which also has been doing the same thing like the leaves on that one that I showed you earlier, where they've been curling and kind of distorted. And so I'm not sure what happened with this one, and it was doing the same thing. And it looks like it's finally doing better. There hasn't been any more new growth from here from the top. I'm not sure what happened there, but it started branching out. You see it here at the bottom. And so these leaves are finally starting to look much better. They're coming out, because even the small ones, when they first started branching out here at the bottom, they were coming out distorted as well, like the funny curling, and you see funny curling, and like just not smooth and bumpy and all that. So this is my second pruinosa plant, and then I have one more right here, and this is the third one, because I had a whole bunch more, but then when I started transplanting them out of the 1-gallon pot, because that had no, actually it was a small little really small nursery pot. I had sown these seeds in, and I had way more. And then as I started transplanting them out into their own 1-gallon pots, something like 3 different plants, not only with this pruinosa, but also with my what's the other one? The Peruviana variety. That one also, I lost quite a few of them. I think I lost like, I think 4 in total. They weren't really small. They were about like this size in a 1 gallon pot. And then all of a sudden I get up the next morning and check on them, and they were like this. Here's like the stem, and it was like flopped over halfway. It wasn't at the it wasn't at the base of the plant, but it was like in the midsection, and it was like it flopped down. So I don't know what, and I could tell. I looked at the one of them, and I saw a tiny little bug. It looked like it had wings on it, but I wasn't sure if it was that. But something had maybe chewed on it, like right in the mid stem, that it caused it to just completely flop over, and then basically caused them all to die. And I lost 3 of them like that. I was so upset. But thankfully I have 1, 2, and 3 of this kind of ground cherry, thankfully. And this one is probably I would say, as far as it looks, definitely doing even better than the one in the 5 gallon pot. And if you see that these leaves are kind of starting to get a bit bigger, so this one looks like it's doing a lot better. And the same thing, I've been pinching off all the flowers, and you see there's more that's just opened. And I wanted to focus on growing more leaves and bigger leaves instead of putting energy on the flowers. But if you can see, this is how it looks. This is how this kind of sorry, I keep getting them messed up. The prunosa. This is what the prunosa does. This is like it sprawls out and about, out sideways, and then you see it's got lots of flowers. But the Peruviana variety, you see, it grows straight up. And this one is, because this, I had the seedlings all in the fabric pot. I'll show you right here. Oh, here it is. This one. So I took them all out, or I took a bunch of them out of this pot and started putting them in their own pots, 1 gallon, and then the best one growing is this one in a 3 gallon pot. You see how tall it is? Look at the comparison. So there's this one, and you got this one. You see the difference? And this one goes straight up, whereas the prunosa one grows out sideways. And this is the Peruviana one. This is the one from seeds from the berries that I bought in the store, fresh berries that I bought in the store. And so I'm excited to, get some fruit coming from this one. And this one definitely is very different from the Peruviana one as well, because this one has no flowers. I have not seen a single flower on this variety yet. But with the prunosa one, I've, from very small, like even from this stage, able to have flowers, because there's a, well, I already pinched off the 1 or 2 flowers that were on this one, but even at this stage, they would start to flower. So that's very different on the varieties. And so, and I think I lost 3 of the plants from this one, of this kind, when I found them just flopped over halfway up the stem, and they died. And but thankfully I didn't toss these after I had taken the few that I wanted and planted them out in their own pots. And so with the 3 that I lost, I just pulled 3, or I think I have 1, 2, or 3. Actually, I only have 3. So I only have 3 total in their own separate pots. But I did lose 3 of this variety, and then 1 of the other one. But thankfully I had backups, and so that's why the other 2 are very small, are still very small compared to that big one that I showed you, because of the fact that the ones I had planted out in their own containers, they got killed by whatever bug it was, because it definitely wasn't a cutworm, because cutworms kill it and cut them off right at the base of the plant where they touch the soil. So I really don't know what happened, but thankfully I have backups, and so I have the 3 that I want, and I'm still not getting rid of these just yet, just to make sure that the other 2 that are in their 1 gallon pots are fully established, because I can be pretty safe to say that the big one will be fine, and I don't have to worry about that one. And so that's pretty much the updates with the ground cherries. Nothing much else to show, but I will show you the harvested berries at the end of this video. And then also I just wanted to show you the beans, and then I'll show you a picture of all the beans that I have harvested, obviously minus the ones that we've already eaten. And this, so you see I have these 2 in this pot, the 2, this one and this one, that have produced the most so far. Once it got to the top, it kept growing and growing, and then, of course, trying to find something to grab onto. As you can see, and this one has some new leaves here at the top. Let me see if I can, where is it now? Oh, right, so these are the newest leaves that just came out. But it had wound up, it had, would wind, and I kind of would get it to wind back, get it back to wind down here, and this was the right tip of it, and for whatever reason I could tell it stopped growing, so then it just snipped the very tip of it, and then so it's taken quite some time for those new leaves to come in, and all the new growth coming here at the bottom. So here it's going to be it's going to be a mix of flowers and new leaves. So by me pinching it at the top, it caused new growth to branch out, and it just took a while. So it's been, I think, about 2 weeks since I last got any beans from this plant, because they both just all of a sudden, I guess when it got to the top, it just stopped. I'm not sure why. It just kind of stopped growing, so then I just went ahead and pinched the top, the very tip of it, just to encourage, if it wasn't already on its own going to start branching out, by me snipping the tip of it, then it would cause that. And so both of these now have new growth coming. So this is definitely, I think, should be flowers, and a mix of flowers and leaves coming out, and you see here as well, and over here. So it's still going to be a while. And I also planted another one. I just sowed another plant in here just to see if I can, get away with having 3 of these bean plants, because I actually saw a video where this person in, I can't remember what Asian country, they actually had a much smaller pot, much smaller rectangular pot, and it wasn't, I don't even think it was even this deep, because this is a 5 gallon, this is like almost a foot deep, I think, or is pretty close to a foot deep, and they had a much more shallow pot, and they had several plants in that one, and they showed the very end too, where they were able to harvest a whole bunch, and it was doing really well. So I just thought maybe I'll give it a try and see if I put 3 of these bean plants in here and just make sure I feed them. And then this one too, which is part of the original first 3 that I planted, this one I just don't know what happened, but it had finally started to branch out again and have new growth, because this one it didn't even reach the top of the little trellis that I gave it to climb up. It didn't even reach the very top, and it just all of a sudden stopped growing. And as you can see, these leaves are very small compared to the ones in the 5 gallon pot. And I decided to also grow another one, a new one in here, so that one is doing really well. But this one has started to put out new growth, and I actually got a new bean from this one. But the beans from this plant, for some reason, the color of the beans are very light red. I mean, definitely not as dark as all the ones that I got from those 2 plants. But so I'm not sure what's going on with this one. And so I made sure to put some more of the fertilizer. Tomato Tone is the one I use. Let me show you real quick. This is what I use, because this is what's available, and I want the organic ones. I don't want synthetic fertilizer, and because it says choose for organic gardening, and so this is what I use to feed my plants. And so I put, I sowed another plant, and I put some more fertilizer in there. So I hope that definitely I would assume that this one should do well. If this one turns out to be like this one, then it must be the soil or something in it, whatever is going on. I mean, it's the same soil that's in this one, that's in that one, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But so that's what's going on, and that's the update on my beans and my ground cherries. And I will go ahead and show you the harvest I got from both of these. Oh, and I wanted to show you a surprise strawberry plant that I ended up getting. It volunteered in this pot of garlic chives, and I really have no clue where this came from. Only possible way, I think, is from, if I haven't, see, the thing is, I don't remember putting any compost in this, and that's the only possible way, is if I actually, from a long time ago, I would have, it's been a while since we even had strawberries, so I don't know, but maybe because if there were any rotten strawberries, I would have put them in my compost bucket, and that's the only way I could think of that this would pop up. But anyway, doesn't matter. I'm very happy to have it because I've been wanting strawberries, and to have this volunteered is great. And so once it gets a little bit bigger, I'm definitely going to have to get it out of here, because it definitely cannot stay in the same pot with the garlic chives. It needs its own space. And so I just wanted to show you that real quick, that we also got a strawberry plant, a surprise strawberry plant that just volunteered. Don't you just love volunteer plants? So here are some of the ground cherries that I harvested from the pruinosa variety plant. And you see this cup, you see how small they are. And so you see this one is definitely, it's really too green. And it's supposed to be yellow, so this definitely, most likely, I'm just going to toss. And here is a bit more yellow, and it's been a while, but you see, like here, this is a whole one. I haven't opened it, and that's what it looks like. And you see how small they are, and all you do is just gotta, pull back the husk, and you see inside this one. So I mean, this one, you see, I think they're definitely supposed to be more yellow, and like you see, this one's got a tinge of green at the very top. And yeah, it's been probably like 3 weeks now, or even almost a month, that they've fallen off the plant, and they're not very yellow. And I've eaten a few of them, and they taste very much like tomatoes, which I do not like the taste of tomatoes. So, and this variety is actually supposed to not have a tomatoey taste. It's supposed to be sweet, and I think it's supposed to have a slight pineapple flavor. But so far, these have not come out tasting like that at all whatsoever. So I'm hoping as the plant gets bigger and I get bigger fruit. You see, here's another one that's very green. Oh, it's starting to get dried now, and it's very green. So I'll probably just put that in a compost pile. And so that's what they look like, and I'm just gonna have to wait and see later on, hopefully as it gets bigger and it gives me a bigger fruit, and hopefully it'll taste sweet. But these have not. And so far I'm not a fan of this variety, because these are so small, and they do not taste sweet. But I will have to wait and see as the season goes on, and as it grows and produces more fruit, hopefully bigger ones. Then I can really say if I would plant more of it. But the reviews for this variety have been really good. So I'm not gonna give a final review on this until the plant, you know, has completely done with its growing season. And so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the update, and let me know, have you ever had a ground cherry, Cape gooseberry, pichu berry, what else is it called, goldenberry? Have you ever tasted that? And if you have, then let me know what you think and which variety you've had, and if you think you would like to try growing these. All right, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.